Hey guys, Lyra Linx here. It's pretty late right now, and because of that, I'm kind of an insomniac. I don't get a ton of sleep, which proved to be kind of a problem in college. And speaking of college, I've been wanting to make this video since I got out, just kind of talking about how I felt about the first year and all the stuff that went down. Um, I kind of want to do a stories with Lyra video where I just tell the fun college stories, but I wanted this video to just be more real and just talking about the good and bad of the experience as a whole rather than just a bunch of ragtag stories. So, late at night is when my thinking time kind of starts happening, and it's sad boy hours, if you know what I mean. Just brain whirling, all kinds of thoughts going through my mind. Usually, some of them are good, but not always. So, I'm just kind of thinking of this whole experience in its entirety. Right now, since it's summer, I am trying to decide between two different jobs what I want to do. I'm basically just waiting to hear which might have more money, and I'd take up that one because I need to pay off college. And yeah, I think that I'm gonna be pretty happy working this summer, honestly. I think it'll be better for me in that I actually might get more sleep with this route than even college. There's all this glitter on my face, sorry. I tried to wipe it all off from makeup earlier, but it just anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to pay off my college debt, and I feel like working is going to be a lot better because I think it'll be less stressful, and I honestly think that even with the work I'll be doing, I want to get in as many hours as possible, but I still think I'll have more free time than I had with college. So, obviously, as a freshman going into college, you don't really know at all what you're expecting. And I just didn't have a clue what I was going to be in for. It was crazy the first week. It was just kind of moving in, getting to know my three roommates at the time. And actually, by the end of the year, I was down to only one because my first roommate who left went back home, transferred colleges through. It wasn't even before the end of Christmas break that she decided to go back. And then a little bit into the winter term, my other roommate decided to go back to her home state and start at a college there next year. So actually, that was kind of a heartbreaking experience. I got kind of close to my roommates. I turned out to have some pretty decent ones. I related to those two especially a lot, and then they were gone. Um, so honestly, with the relationships that I had formed, that kind of hit me. I didn't think about all of these other factors outside of just the schooling aspect that were going to affect me during college. I didn't think about how forming relationships with people and other things could affect these details in my academics. And by getting attached to somebody and then losing them, that I would just be distracted in all of this. There were a lot of people in college that decided to drop out. I guess because the school is a little bit hard. Not everybody wants to continue doing that. And so it was kind of sad to see friends go, and it makes you feel a little bit more alone, if you know what I mean. Because I really did get close, especially with one roommate in particular, a very good connection, and then poof, it's gone, and everything just feels different. So that was kind of one thing that affected me throughout my college. Also, oh, okay, so before college, I was kind of getting over a breakup, and going into college, I was like, I don't know if I want to date or anything this year. But then, after being single for a little while, I was like, hey, maybe I would want to get into a relationship. And my roommates were still around, and we're working to, like, throw my numbers out at people or get me into a relationship. So I actually started one with the boyfriend that I have currently. At first, we kind of dated for 2 weeks, and then he broke up with me because he was a little bit nervous about things, and that was fine. Because, like, a month later, we still had a lot of feelings for each other. We were hanging out, like, every day and just talking all the time, and um, he was kind of flirting with other girls, but still had a thing for me, and it was getting me jealous. So, we kind of realized that, hey, we both still like each other. We got back together. That was probably one of the best parts of the college experience, honestly. Being in a relationship through school can be kind of hard because when you're worried about your partner and being able to see them, make time for them, their own mental state and stress that they're going through, that affects you as a person too, and that's a lot to take on. I kind of forgot about that. Through my junior and senior year of high school, I was with somebody, and honestly, it can be kind of a distracting thing. Um, but I still did pretty well academics wise. The worst grade I received was a C, and that was in biology, which actually turned out to be a class to root out pre-meds, and I wasn't informed of this while I was getting advised for what classes I should take. I was just told, hey, chemistry and biology are the options for labs to do. I was not informed that there was also a psych lab that would have counted for the same thing and that I would have preferred to do. I was just told chemistry or biology. And I was like, well, I guess I'll do biology then. I wasn't that bad at it. And I had no idea what I was in for. I don't think I even retained any information from that class. It's like all pooped out of my brain now. So that's about how useful that class was. Honestly, it was kind of a frustrating realization to find out that college, in certain ways, was so reminiscent of high school. Because obviously in high school, there are just a bajillion gen eds that you have to get through. And I knew that there would be some general requirements for college, but I feel like it's so ridiculous the amount. College is supposed to be setting you up for your major, for the career that you want to spend the rest of your life doing. But it feels so tedious to me to have to go through so many general education requirements just to get to what I need. Having to take biology, I have math that I have to deal with next year. I just, uh, English is a requirement, but I'm double majoring English and Spanish anyway, so that's fine for me. You also have to take a foreign language, so it's kind of a good thing that I'm majoring in that. Otherwise, that would be very inconvenient to whatever I wanted to do. And history is a thing that I had to do. That was kind of frustrating. I'm actually super surprised that I came out with an A because that class was kind of interesting, but at the same time, I know that 90% of that class never read anything. Um, Honestly, there were a couple books that I skimmed through and was fine. I There were two that I was kind of involved in because I really liked them, but I don't know. I feel like if you are going to structure a class, especially a college class, then it shouldn't be structured in a way that any student can just fully BS their way through it, as convenient as that is for those students, myself included, I guess. The class should be something where you're needing to take in information and actually learning, and it's actually engaging. And it just doesn't feel that way with everything. really frustrating in certain ways to go through. There were so many classes where I would just sit down and pray that it would be over. It was so boring, so tedious. I felt like I wasn't gaining anything from specific classes, and it was just a lot. It was also a lot to deal with the change. Even though I'm not that far away from my parents, it was very difficult still to be away from them. I couldn't come back every weekend like I wanted. There were times where I was pretty busy and there was a lot going on, so that was really, really hard. It was also extremely frustrating being over there in a town with a ton of places to work that I couldn't find a job. Anywhere I applied, I heard nothing back. I didn't get any interviews, any calls. I had a friend who told me that they'd help me get into a job. Didn't happen. Was never called. I was told to expect a call like constantly from him, and nothing happens. And then I get back home here, and immediately I have places calling me in for interviews. And that's frustrating. I wish I could have been making money this whole time. But honestly, with how hard it was to juggle these classes and figure out a schedule for this first year, it's probably for the best that I didn't work, because I probably would have been twice as stressed out. If I'm being fully honest, it's probably the most stress I've gone through in my life so far. College is stressful. Ah, it was even with two alarms set every day, one on my phone, one on an actual alarm clock, there were still times where I wouldn't wake up or I'd miss something. I was kicking myself because for one exam, I was a half hour late getting there, even though I had not even just two alarms set that day. There were actually three alarms because I wanted to make sure that I'd get up, and I still didn't. It was actually maintenance opening my door and asking to check something in the room that got me up in time to go to that exam, which I still did fine on, and so I'm very happy about that. But at the same time, it's just so weird. I've never been late like that. The attendance policies for some professors are very strict and for others very lax, and they treat it almost like it's a job, which is a good thing, but at the same time, it's in very many aspects it's not like a job, and I wish that they were a little bit more open about it. I don't really know how to explain any of this. I just kind of wanted to vent out some of my general frustrations. I had to go to TA talks for my Spanish class, for each class that I had. So I would speak in Spanish with the teacher's assistant, and I kid you not, there is not a single TA talk that I made the first meeting of. The first time I missed it and emailed my professor about it, and I was able to meet with her and make it up, but I technically, I missed that first one. And then for every other TA talk I had after that, I just straight up would forget about them because I'd go through a class and all the TA talks would be over. I'd take my final exam, and then a new Spanish class would start up, and I'd forget when they'd start again, and I felt like an idiot. So that was very frustrating. Missing the first TA talk every time definitely doesn't help a grade. I made every other one though, and I passed every other one with 100% though, so it was fine, but it's just frustrating. I feel like I've never been so disorganized in my entire life as much as I was trying to be. It was also harder than I thought to find time to finish assignments. My procrastination just got so much worse this year. It's insane. I I couldn't find motivation sometimes, and I don't think that it was just all sheer laziness. Sometimes I was just so stressed out and it got me so depressed that I just didn't want to do anything at all. And I can see why they have a counseling center very close. I wish it was open more hours because it was a lot to go through. Um, the first year transition is awful. I can understand why people drop out from college. It's a lot to take on, and I don't plan to quit. I'm definitely going to graduate someday, but it's a lot. And honestly, I used to not understand why people wouldn't want to go to college. It was just sort of laid out as the route that everybody should be taking to succeed. But now I understand that it's not for everyone. There are other jobs out there like trades work and so on, and I see those more as respectable routes now because I can understand totally why somebody wouldn't want to go through college when it's such a complicated roundabout way to get to being what you want to be. It's so frustrating to me that you can't go to college when it's literally supposed to be focused on you figuring out your career, and you have to go through all these general education requirements that have no association with anything you're doing. I just, I want there to be a more specialized type of learning than that, because it feels far too high school-esque to me. I also had to realize this year going through college that high school drama definitely had to be left in the past. There were people who would try to bring up old things with me and start drama, and I just kind of realized that it's a time to be maturing and leave all of that in the past. There's just been so much going on. It's, I don't even know how to explain it all. Honestly, there were times where I wondered if I did want to quit college, and then I'd talk to my mom, and she'd remind me that I wanted this for so long, and that I had the strength to do it, and so I would continue. I can't lie though, there were so many nights where I just felt so defeated. There were so many nights where I would let circumstances around me affect what I was doing. Like I should be focusing on my grades and this and that, but oh, this dramatic thing is happening and this distraction. It's so hard to balance everything. And it's especially difficult when you want to do well academically, but you also want to pursue a social life. It's, you have to figure out what you should be devoting your time to and how much of it. And it's different for every person based on their schedule, based on how much time it takes them to get things done. Factor in things like procrastination. I also really, really hate the fact that so much technology is being integrated into things now. It's supposed to be a tool to help us and be more convenient, but honestly, it's not. I found that I did way better on every paper test than I did on an online test. I recently gave some advice to a graduating senior who was very scared to abandon things and leave them behind, and I tried to give the most positive advice possible, because going through this year and honestly struggling so hardcore, um, I had a counselor tell me, and several people tell me, and just having to realize for myself also that I was caring too much for other people and not caring enough for myself. I worried about taking care of other people who I felt like weren't in as decent of positions as me. I would try to offer food, money, support, everything that I could for people, and in ways that affected my own health. It was very stressful. I was worried for other people all the time, so I couldn't focus on what I needed to do. I've been sick this year so often. I feel like my health just kind of deteriorated with college. My eating schedule was not as good. I wasn't as happy with all the work I had to do. There were some times where I couldn't be as active, and not being able to get out and have that stress relief every now and then, it's just very hard on the body. My sleeping schedule got messed up even more than it is in high school, and I'm still suffering through that now. There are times where I go to bed early, times where I sleep through the entire day. Sometimes I can sleep at night, sometimes I just stay up really late and then sleep. Everything is everywhere, and I still can't fix that from going through college, from staying up just to have a little bit of time to myself, or staying up super late for assignments, what have you. It's very difficult to make decisions, but through all of that, I feel like there are some things I learned. So I tried to give advice to this graduating senior and tell her, yes, it's scary to leave things behind. I'll be the first to say that. It's hard, terrifying, and people are very nervous to get rid of friends or not be able to see them. But I've gone through some friend struggles honestly this year. I've been hurting so much and figuring out who I am, and I feel like that is the most important thing. I told her that you need to look at who you are and focus on that above everything else. If there are people in your life who are hurting you, who are toxic, who are not good friends anymore, I told her, because I'm going through this right now, this process of filtering through friends, realizing that people change and it's not always in a good way. Sometimes you mature a little bit quicker than other people do, and you need to be around people who are, well, it's good to be around people who are different, but sometimes you need to find people who are kind of more like-minded to you or at your maturity level for sure, because you can't be dragged down by all of that. I told her that she should make as many memories as possible. If she's afraid of letting go, she should have fun with the people she cares about while she can, and stay in contact with anybody who's truly that important to her. I told her to expect for sometimes people to drift away. That just naturally happens in life. That's kind of unavoidable. I'm realizing that, and I'm learning to come to terms with that myself. I told her to expect people to drift away. Sometimes it's just hard for people to stay in contact. Sometimes you don't see that person for years and you can reconnect and talk like there was never any distance. You never know. But if people are important to you, call them, text them, do what you can. If you miss them, reach out to them. The worst that happens is sometimes you lose people, and that's a part of life. I told her to leave high school drama in high school, um, to focus on herself, just grow up, be who she is, and do what makes her happy above anything else. And I'm figuring that out too. There were some kind of cheesy words on Facebook that kind of got to me the other day, and it said something along the lines of, people are gonna hate you no matter what you do, and so why not just be you? And I've kind of been reflecting on that a lot. I'm an adult now. I make my own decisions. My mom reminded me the other day that there there were some friends of mine who I'm not in a good place with anymore that are being very hypocritical, making poor decisions. And she asked me if I wanted to be a hypocrite like that or if I wanted to have different morals and a different standard for myself. And she was right. I do want to be different. I want to make those decisions. I want to focus on who I am and not let the comments of other people reflect upon that anymore. I've had a lot of people this year tell me that they see me as this unique personality or something like that. It's been strange. I've heard it from a couple people and I didn't really believe it, honestly, because I don't think highly enough of myself if I'm being honest. They just told me that I'm so different, that I have these unique morals from other people, or that I have, like, I don't know, just like this niceness inside me. I give people a ton of chances. I do this and that. And now I've really been thinking about it, and if they see me as that sort of light, if they actually see me as being that positive of a force, that makes me incredibly happy. And the person I want to be is that kind of light. I want to have a positive influence. There are times where my anxiety or depression can kind of take over, and then it stifles that light inside of me, and I can be pessimistic. But I think at the core of my being, what I want to be is better than what's in this world. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm not going to make a ton of mistakes along the way and still be mean and hurtful to people sometimes. That's going to happen. But I don't want to be a cause of so much hate when there are so many people who put it in the world. Even today, I had this realization that it's so easy for people to throw out hurtful words at me, at the people around me, and I don't want to be a source of that negativity. All these grudges that I've been feeling for people, I'm gonna need time to work through them, but I want to learn to let them go. Because honestly, it doesn't hurt the people I have grudges against. My hatred for them doesn't hurt them, it hurts me. And I don't want to spread more hate through the world anyway, because there are plenty of people who can do that. But there aren't a lot of people who want to say nice things. I kind of had this weird thought the other day when I was struggling to tell somebody thank you because for some reason I felt awkward about it. And I was like, why is it so awkward to thank somebody genuinely or tell somebody that you love them or just give someone a genuine compliment? What is there to be embarrassed about in any of that? I really wanted to be a translator, and I still do. And I often tell people that I want to be a translator because I want to partially break the language barrier and connect people where they couldn't speak to each other otherwise. I want to connect worlds. It's such a big barrier sometimes to people. Not everybody wants to learn a language. And so it just sets up this wall between people. We can't communicate with one another because we don't know one another's tongue. I want to help translate, break down that wall, make people's intentions clear to one another. And somebody told me that they didn't outright say it in these terms. They didn't say that my dream was stupid or anything, but they said that it's impossible, that these barriers can't be broken. And of course, it's never going to be perfect, but I don't want to listen to those words. I want to do what is within my power to do to make a change. I don't think that I am some all-powerful force that can just do a million things. But what I do want to do is be able to make all the impact that I personally can. I want to set myself apart from my friends, be an example, be the words that I say that I want to see. I have the power to do that. I have the power to speak kind words to people. I have the power to forgive. I have the power to continue to extend helping hands to people while still respecting myself. And I feel like those are kind of all of the steps that people need to be taking. College is definitely a journey. Adulthood is a journey. And I feel like the most important part of it, more than all the people around or even finances, is finding who you are. You want to make a career for yourself, make a name for yourself, become financially stable. Those are all goals. But if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you're capable of, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you want to be, then you can't make it there. And so I hope that this summer will be a learning experience for me. I'll continue to grow stronger. That's really what I want. I could complain more and more about college if I wanted to. It was so stressful, I can't even begin to put it into words. But I want to take my failures from this year and try to figure out a better plan for next year. I want to take what I did well and apply that over again. I want to keep going through this trial and error And I'll probably complain a lot on the way and mess up, but in the end, I want to walk out graduated, holding that diploma. I will become a translator. Or who knows, maybe plans will change. Maybe I'm meant to be something else. I want to be my own definition of successful. I want to do something that matters to me and hopefully to other people. So I'm gonna do everything that is possible for me to do to accomplish that without beating myself up. I have a bad habit of setting unrealistic goals for myself. I kind of want to make a video just touching on that topic, but that's for a later date. But now I want to attempt to make more realistic expectations. I am my own worst critic all the time, and it's not even a thing that's beneficial to me. It's just something that is self-degrading, and I can't allow myself to do that anymore if I want to be the strong woman I hope to become. So I don't want to do that. I want people to hold me accountable. I feel like the thing that has been frustrating me the most this year is people falsely telling me that I don't own up to, I don't know, wrongdoings or anything else like that. I feel like if there's one thing I'm good at, it's owning my shit. I can admit that I've messed up. I can admit that I'm human and I'm going to continue doing so. But I still want to do the best that I know how to and apologize when I'm in the wrong and continue moving forward no matter what. Because I'm sick of people just jerking my head back to the past as soon as I can finally start focusing on the present, the future again. So, I guess that's all I really have to say. I want to continue doing better. I want to continue having fun, making videos. I want to leave a positive influence in my videos and let people know that dreams can be possible, that you need to find the will inside of yourself to do things sometimes. So there are days where there's nobody on your side but you. Fall back on you. It's okay to just be you. Rely on you and continue marching until you've done all that you need to do. So, the Lyra Linx channel is going to continue. This is something I really enjoy doing and would like to be able to keep doing in the extended future. So, as always, if you'd like, you can leave comments regarding the topic of the video, or if you want to leave me suggestions. This was kind of a very speechy-like video by the end of it. I'd say I'm sorry, but I don't really want to apologize for my feelings anymore. That's something I've also started realizing this year, is that people apologize a lot for the way that they feel, but that's the way you feel, so why are you apologizing? It's part of you, just own it, be okay with it. So, no, I'm not sorry. Yeah, this turned into kind of a motivational speech, but I think it's what I needed, and if I'm talking about it, maybe it's something that somebody else needed to hear. So, that's it. Like and subscribe for more content, and I'd really like to see you guys in another video. Thanks for any of you out there who are supporting me. I really appreciate it. Bye.